Today on BNI Mid-America TV, it's the Notable Networker Show. These BNI members have been nominated by their peers for doing amazing things, reaching big accomplishments, and actively displaying the giver's gain philosophy. Listen as they share their golden nuggets for networking success. And now your host, Marcy Cascio-Hale.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to BNI Mid-America TV. This is the Notable Networker Show, and my name is Marcy Cascio-Hale. I am hosting this segment of the show, and today I have with me Chris Ahart. He is the president of Profit, and that chapter meets at 11:15 in Carbondale, Illinois at Bandanas when meeting in person or on Zoom. He holds the advertising and promotional products seat, and like I said, he's the president, and this is his second term. So I just want to welcome you, Chris, to the show. How are you today? Welcome.
I'm excellent. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, which I know is busy, to do this. So appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you being here. And obviously somebody nominated you to be noticed as a notable networker, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But first, I want to hear about your company. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So Aris Studios, Promotions and Techs LLC. Obviously, you mentioned promotional products. That's the majority of my business, but I like doing a lot of things. So I also do custom clothing, signs of all types. There's some art involved. And I really try to focus on listening to the needs of my clients and provide them with information to make an informed decision that fulfills their needs. I really don't do a lot of hard sales. I'm not that kind of person. If I feel like I'm being sold, I instantly start backing up. So I keep that in mind when I'm dealing with my clients. I like to just give them, here's all these options, and inform them as much as I possibly can in a nice, relaxed manner.
So my next question was, what makes you and your company special? Would you say it's the lack of hard sales, or is there something else that makes you and your company special?
I would say it's probably the 19 years of retail experience prior, listening to a lot of different clients, having that experience with retail, and practicing 2 ears, 1 mouth kind of interactions when dealing with clients, to really focus in on what it is that they're looking for, what their expectations are, and really communicating in the fashion that they like to communicate. That's one of the things that I've really learned is, you have a lot of people nowadays with multiple options to communicate, and many people focus on either they love to talk on the phone, or they communicate only by email, or text. I have some clients that's the only way I can get them to make a decision. So shifting into the format that works best for them, finding out what that is, and being flexible.
I love that. We had a previous guest that talked about communicating with the client in the mode in which best suits them. And I know it is challenging because we do have so many opportunities on how we can communicate with them. But I love that because it's more client-centered. And that, I think, that's one of the things I think you do very, very well. So definite kudos on that. Now,
thank you.
You're welcome. We talked about the notable networker, and I want to read to you some of the comments that I got regarding your nomination. Great job with presentation during the meetings, always on top of it, which I can't agree more. Genuinely cares about chapter members. And here's the one I like the best. He walks the walk. He doesn't ask somebody to do something that he's not willing to do. And I just want to ask you, how does that make you feel knowing what other people have said about you?
Well, I'm an introvert, so any acclaim and accolades, honestly, is very uncomfortable. But that said, it's very humbling. So the walk that was taught to me by family, obviously first, but then also I had great mentors in business, and they would do absolutely everything that they expected anybody else under them to do at a moment's notice. it has its benefits. It shows people that you're willing to do whatever it takes, for one. And it shows people, if you're in management below you, that you have expectations, and if things fall short, that you're willing to step up and fulfill that need. So,
well, that's great. Do you have any other examples of things that you have accomplished doing these types of things, the walking the walk and not asking somebody to do something you're not willing to do?
Sure. So recently we had a member that was completely out of his own hands, unable to do a keynote. We had a complete restructuring, and it just was going to be too much of a hassle. So I just went ahead and within a day's notice was just like, you know what, I'll go ahead and do my keynote, and substitute for him, and make it easier on the secretary treasurer, so that way he didn't have to worry about everything. And those of us that have been in BNI enough and are comfortable with doing keynotes enough, that becomes a lot easier. 2 years ago, if someone had told me, by the way, tomorrow you're going to give a keynote, that would not have been a good day for me. But now it's a lot easier. So just little things like that, making sure that we follow through with policies, keeping in contact with members, and also just keeping in contact with members when there's personal things going on in their lives too, just to let them know, hey, I'm not just here as a business person for you. I'm also here just as a friend. And you've had this thing happen. You need any help, you let me know. So.
Right. And that is one of the things I appreciate about Profit is you really can see the familial connection. Everybody is related basically, and everybody cares for everybody else, and they have everybody's backs. And I think that's just commendable. And you lead from the front by showing that, and everybody models that after you. So you are a wonderful leader. I'm just going to give you kudos on that. Right there.
You're just trying to make me as uncomfortable as possible, but thank you for the kind words.
Totally the goal. Totally the goal. Well, and somebody once told me you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable getting accolades, which are well-deserved, then you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because you do a wonderful job. Now, in terms of BNI's core values, which core value do you think hits home closest for you?
Lifelong learning, without a doubt. It's just one of those things that I absolutely love about college. When you find some information about something in one class that's able to be applied into another, and there's that just synchronicity that's going on. In my job, there are so many constant changes. Continuing education is just part of my day. I spend probably the first half hour checking up on trends, new hot products, forums for our industry, just to stay educated. And BNI has been phenomenal for me as far as marketing opportunities, education opportunities, continuing education, chapter education units, whatever CEU acronym you want to put on it. So it's perfect for me.
That's awesome. And I like you love when there's crossover. So speaking of the educational aspect, I didn't ask you this question before, but what do you think is the one thing that, this is a funny question, what is the coolest, neatest, most awesome thing that you have learned through your BNI education?
Honestly, just how to properly network. I was a horrible networker before I got into BNI. As I said, I'm an introvert. I was one of those kind of people, if I had to go into a networking event, I'm off in the corner, not working the room, not making myself visible truly and open to others, and have just an enjoyable conversation about what it is that you do without trying to sell to somebody.
Right.
So BNI has been very good at teaching me a lot of those kind of skills. Our multiple education coordinators that we've had since I've been a member have been great at walking us through a lot of those topics.
And I think you hit on it a little bit earlier, the 2 ears, 1 mouth, to listen more than you speak. And I do think that's something that BNI does really, really well in terms of switching the paradigm in which you walk into a networking event. Because I think as a BNI person, you go into the networking event looking to see who you can help instead of who you can sell.
Agree, 100%.
Yeah, so I like that. Thank you. That was spot on. So in terms of BNI, what is your biggest win? And I know that's a fuzzy question, but what's one thing that you're so pleased with?
I'll give you 2. One thing, as illustrative of that VCP process, my business is fairly new. So the ability to create a relationship with another member who is representing a bank, and to be able to have them trust me enough that their bank as a whole, with their 13 branches, purchased 15,000 pens from me. That's not something that you can just cold call and expect to occur. So from a sales point, that's a great win for me. But really what I enjoy the most are just helping connect other members. I do try to attend some other chapters meetings, and it's great when you can hear a need from one chapter and find somebody in another chapter that fulfills that need. And probably okay, I'm going to give you 3 things, not 2.
Ooh, I like
my biggest one that is just a personal win, because it's employment, and I think that's obviously very important. There was a person that I had managed years ago that was a great employee, and there was another chapter member who was looking for a great employee. They had an employee for a long time, no longer with the company. They had been searching, and so I was able to connect those 2. And it's just things like that that I feel are awesome.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. There are so many ways to get to help. And I want to go back to your first example, because you talked about the VCP process. And now we do have some non-BNI members listening to this. Do you want to explain a little bit of what that is?
Sure. Yes. So VCP stands for visibility, credibility, profitability, and one just leads into the other. To be credible, you have to be visible. To be profitable, you need those other 2 before that. So you just can't show up and expect profit to happen. You have to be there. You have to be there a lot. You have to show up and do the other little things that make BNI unique, but also make BNI work. One-to-ones, that's probably the most single important thing you can have, that will help develop that credibility, really get members to know you better, really get to know each other better, obviously, but allows that credibility factor to creep in.
Yes. And that is one of the things I think that BNI really hits home on, is you have to build up that credibility by showing up, doing the stuff, being prepared. It's like anything else. If you went to the store every week and Joe the butcher was not doing butcher things, you're not necessarily going to trust Joe the butcher. So it's again, it's walking the walk, which is so spot on for you. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about is one positive thing that you have helped work your chapter through. Can you tell us about that?
Definitely. The TMR process, the return to a traditional meeting, was very important. Obviously, we've all been through a lot of Zoom meetings, and there's just, while it's wonderful to connect with people online, there's just something that meeting together in a hybrid function. So it was a return to a traditional meeting hybrid. So those that were not able to, because of family or because of their work, join the meeting, were able to do so via Zoom, while we in the meeting are there as well. while it was a lot of steps to get through and make sure that we did so safely, it allowed a lot of that organic conversation that Zoom just doesn't have, to really allow members to connect before the meeting, after the meeting, and just, you know, besides spreading the referrals that obviously we're there for, also just checking in and hey, how are you doing, and having a conversation, a really a deeper kind of connection.
I don't even know how to respond to that, because I know that was a challenging thing that you went through for your chapter, and you felt it was for the better of your chapter to get back to as much in person as you could. And that was a lot of hoops. So, and I know your chapter thoroughly appreciated you going to the lengths that you did. So, as do I. So thank you very much for doing that. Now, how has BNI affected your business?
It's phenomenal. So we talked briefly about the VCP aspect, and before it would have been 2 keynotes ago, I was just curious what the numbers were like for me from year 1 to year 2. And it was double. That me just being there longer, having that visibility, having that credibility, created more profitability my 2nd year. And I'm looking to double that again. So it's been huge, not just in profit, but it's also given me, and when I say that, just not money, not just our chapter name, but it's also given me great connections to help people that I know my neighbors. Somebody on Facebook needs a deck. We don't have a guy, oh, well, we do have a guy that does that, excuse me. There was somebody that was looking to add a carport. I don't have a person in my chapter, but I do know one on Route 13 corridor that can do that. And just being able to be that person that's able to connect somebody with a need that you see right away. That's huge for me.
Yeah. And I love how you talk about the Route 13 corridor. I don't think we've talked about this before. The Route 13 corridor, we have 2 chapters from Carbondale and 2 chapters in Marion. And for those of you who don't know, it's right off of Route 13. So you just drive down the road and you can visit 2 additional chapters. And now a 5th one in Carterville that's coming up. So really excited about that. Now, in terms of golden nuggets, what kind of golden nugget do you have for us today?
I would say for people that are starting out, get through the PTS, which is the Passport to Success. It's a program that BNI Mid-America has that really gets new members up to speed as quickly. Obviously, we talked about BNI's love of acronyms, but gets you to introduce yourself to new members, which leads you to not only feel more comfortable with the rooms, but also hopefully gets you business, hopefully gets you those referrals that you're obviously joining and interested in the chapter for. The other thing I would say is once you get through that Passport to Success, take the time, maybe once a month, whatever fits your schedule, and visit another chapter. Even if they have a chapter member that might have some crossover, you never know what those connection opportunities might give you, not just as a referral, but the ability for you to offer something else to another customer if you know that that person can help your business out. So there's a lot of connections that can be made, not just in your own chapter, but multiple chapters.
Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you have an example of what you were just referring to in terms of referring one of your customers to something that somebody else does in your seat?
Sure. So there was a person in another chapter that was needing a certain type of installation that I do not do, but I was able to actually reach to a member in your chapter, and he was able to fulfill that need. And that's, you know, keeping it in BNI, but not just keeping it in BNI, keeping it with a person that I know that I can trust is going to fulfill that need. I'm putting skin in the game by saying that, yes, I know that this can be done for you. And, you know, having that respect that comes with it is great.
Well, and you're still a hero to your customer.
Yes. They still come to you, and they know that they can run anything by me. And if I can't, if I can't do it myself, I'm going to find them somebody that can.
That's awesome. Now, I guess as I ask for your final thoughts, I should say after I ask for your final thoughts, you always close your meeting with the statement that you say, and I would like you to basically give me your final thoughts and then give me your closing statement, because I do want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure. So final thoughts. Thank you again for taking the time out of your busy day. It's a lot of fun to always talk BNI with another member. So that's part of the fun of BNI. It's really finding the different ways that you can connect. And I'll be honest, there's certain wonderful things from other chapters that I've been able to abscond and put into our agenda, because I love the way that it flows, and find little things that we can do to tweak. Perfect example, we had a member that visited a chapter when he was golfing in London, and he took a photograph of their weekly member list and information about their meetings and the flyers that all different kind of chapters have, and it was phenomenal. And that's what ours is based off of. And just finding little nuggets like that. So I usually close the meeting out with, I hope the rest of your week is filled with family, good friends, and profit, or some variation of that. Family, new connections, old friends, profit.
And profit, not just meaning $1.
Correct.
And
correct. The chapter.
I love that. That is amazing. And Chris, I want to thank you for being with us today. So wonderful that you were nominated, and so well deserved. So definitely take that to heart. You're doing an amazing job. And
thank you very much, Marcy.
Well, thank you. And I want to thank everybody who has tuned in to BNI Mid-America TV, and let you know to check out the show notes so that you can get some of Chris's information if you have any interest in promotional products. And I do want to let you know that he does paint. He is an artist. He didn't toot his own horn on that, but he is a fabulous artist. So check the show notes if you want more information on how to get a hold of Chris. And as we close, I just want to let you know, please look for us on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and any other social media place, because we have some amazing shows here for BNI Mid-America TV. And if you know a notable networker, leave me some information, send me a friend request on Facebook or BNI, and let me know what's going on in your chapter. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
For more information on how BNI can help you build your business, book your complimentary consultation with Virginia Moose-Keith at discoverbnimidamerica.com. BNI Mid-America TV is brought to you by the Bergman Insurance Group, your trusted source for Medicare information, education, and enrollment. Be sure to check out the show notes for additional information on how to contact today's host or guest about their business, and thanks for watching.